Hi, everybody. This is SAAD. I was just about to get on the elliptical to exercise, and then I came across an article published out of Australia, which I shared a few minutes ago on my social portals. I thought I would read you some of the snippets from it. Here we go. This is an article published in the Sydney Morning Herald in the feminism section, and the title of the article, the author is Melinda Houston. The title of the article is "A Curfew for Men?" Question mark. What a great idea. I won't read you the whole thing, but she's basically arguing that women have had to deal with the possibility of being attacked and raped at night when they go out, if they're dressed provocatively, if maybe they've had too much to drink, or just walking down the street or going somewhere. Well, one of the ways that we can mitigate that risk is to have men adhere to a curfew at night, or to be accompanied by a responsible woman when they go out. So it's the opposite of Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, women can't be trusted. Therefore, they must always have a male guardian with them. Here, we would be doing the opposite. Men can't be trusted, and therefore they must be under the authority of female guardianship. And I actually read the article to see whether it was a satirical article that only yours truly could come up with, but no, it was not satirical. So there are a number of options I'm reading now. One is simply to ban all men from being on the streets or on public transport after, say, 9:30, which is effectively the restriction currently placed on women. As females, once we're out and about after dark, post-peak hours, we all know we're in potential danger. So let's shift the burden back on the blokes, who certainly could be at large after curfew if they chose to, but would know they're at constant risk of being caught and spending the night in lockup, which in the scheme of things still isn't as bad as the risk of being raped and murdered. What else here? But how about when I want to, say, go out and have dinner or a few drinks with male friends? Well, right now, at the conclusion of an evening's festivities, one or more of my male companions see me safely into a taxi. But under the new regime, any man out after dark would have to be accompanied by a responsible woman and escorted in person to appropriate transport. It's completely doable. I can attest to it. I've been doing it for decades. I'll put the link to this article in the description section. So there's toxic masculinity. We have to turn men into less toxic creatures. Here's an article. Here's a clip that I posted way back a few years ago, the SAAD TRUTH 73, where a radical feminist by the name of Julie Bindel proclaims that we should just end with heterosexuality. Maybe we can just extract sperm from men and put them in some sort of sperm bank, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe the men can just kind of walk in unison off a cliff and commit collective harakiri. That could be an option. I mean, when is this insanity going to end? I mean, you have a whole movement, certainly in universities, that for the past 30, 40 years has pathologized half of humanity, called men, as a disease. And here I'd like to have a very well-deserved shout-out. Now, I know this is going to be mirrored, and I don't know how to fix it. I can't be bothered to check. This is the War Against Boys, How Misguided Feminism is Harming Our Young Men, by the prescient and brilliant Christina Huff Summers, who's been on my show and who I'm hoping to have come back for a second chat soon. She wrote this book in 2000 where she warned about, the war against boys. This is almost 20 years ago, and that war has only increased. Just yesterday, I posted a SAAD Truth wherein several actresses had argued that their movie appears to have flopped because of, you guessed it, males, but not just males, white males, because apparently there is a great amount of film critics who are white males, and they simply were triggered at a movie that had an all-female cast, and therefore they must have conspired to write bad reviews. So the assault on men is endless. It's relentless. Now, in the same way that any clear-thinking, rational, reasonable, truly liberal person would not want to see women being oppressed, women being discriminated against, does it make sense that we now flippantly, with a complete apathetic yawn, accept that there be repeated, endless, targeted attacks on half of humanity called men, and we don't fight against it? So if you are a university student, if you are a university professor, if you are just a person with a Facebook account, and you see this kind of nonsense, fight against it. Every single individual has the right to live a life of dignity. And the fact that there has been, an endless amount of injustices that have been levied against women throughout history doesn't mean that we now set things right by reversing the pendulum of sexism and target men because, toxic masculinity. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's a cancer of the human spirit. It's an affront to human dignity. And this woman who wrote this article is truly an enemy of reason. If her solution to have men placed under curfew is the means by which we should protect women, which by the way, don't forget that a very, very small percentage of men are the ones who would commit such violent acts against women. So on the one hand, we're told that when 31,000 plus terror attacks are committed in nearly 70 countries around the world since 9/11 alone, in the name of Islam, we should not, blame all of Islam and all of Muslims. The hashtag not all, but it seems it's perfectly okay to blame all of men, to put all men under curfew because some very small number commit reprehensible acts against women. There you have it. So, but to go back to the point, if having a curfew against men is the solution, this is probably coming from the following school of neurology. If you wish to end brain tumors, then a wonderful way to do so is to have preemptive decapitations of the population, because once your head is severed from the rest of your body, you can't have a brain tumor. This is the kind of idiocy that feminism has amounted to after 30, 40, 50 years of going unchallenged in the halls of academia. Wish you all a good day. Enjoy the first semifinal today. Cheers.